This is the Roulette Master, and one of my subscribers, Dave, says that he has the most incredible, best roulette system of all time, and this is called the Dave's Moneymaker. And we're going to test Dave's system out today, and then afterwards, I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be winning at the casino tonight, and how I've been testing a strategy that I've been using lately to win tonight, and that'll be coming up next. So two amazing strategies, and let's get started with Dave's Moneymaker first. And we're going to start with $1 on 1, 2, 4, 5. And then we're going to have $1 on 8, 9, 11, 12. And you can see we're going to have some more corners right here. And this is a really cool strategy. Let's go ahead and spin. And this is a $6 total bet to start. And we're off and running. That's an 8 black. Okay, that's a $3 win. We'll take it. We're up $3. We're just going to rebet and spin. As long as we're in session profit, we're not going to go through the progression. But the first time that we're not in session profit, I'm going to share with you how this progression works. And it's very different than anything you've probably seen before. So we're up $6. We'll just rebet and spin. All right, here we go. Okay, that's a 0 there. So we lost. Okay, so we're going to go up a unit on all of these. So we're going to go from $1 to $2 and spin. And here we go. And once we get a win, we're not going to reset. I'm going to share with you what we're going to do here in a second. But we lost again, so we're going to go up one more unit. So we're going to go from $2 to $3 on each of these bets. And spin. And here we go with Dave's Moneymaker. Here we go, and let's see what we get. That's a 14 red. So once you get a win, you can see we're not in session profit. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the bets that won plus the ones that are attached to them down to base level. So that was the 14. Okay, so that's going to go back to $1. Both of those, the one that won and the one attached to it, the other ones are going to increase by $1. Okay, so now we have 4 corners that have $4 each, 2 corners that have $1 each, and you can see we're at -3. This is an $18 total bet here, and let's go ahead and spin. That's a 12 red. Okay, that's a nice $18 win. So we're up 15 bucks. We're going to go ahead and restart back to where we were at $6 and spin. Okay, here we go. And there's a lot more to this. I'll take you all the way through it. As we go through here, that's a 22 black, and that's a loss. So we're going to increase those by $1. So now they go from $1 to $2. Once we get a win, we're going to adjust a couple of the bets. That's a 17 black. Okay, that's a nice $6 win. We're up 15. So now we're not in new profit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the one that won back to $1. And let me put that one actually back up there again. There we go. And then the one that's attached to it also goes back to $1. Put that back up there. And then the rest of them are going to increase from 2 to 3. Okay, so now we have a $14 total bet out there. And let's go ahead and spin. Okay, that's a 29 black. Okay, that's a nice $13 win there. Now we're in new session profit at $28. We drop back to 6. And I think I messed that up, guys. Just one second. It's $6, but I don't think the bets are right. So that's a 29 black. We were fortunate to get a win there, though. We're at $40 now. But let's go ahead and make sure these bets are right. Put them back out again. So they're one here, just like that. And these ones are attached, and they work as a team. So once one of them wins, then the one that wins goes back to $1, and the one that it's attached to goes back to $1. So let's go ahead and spin here and see what we get. That's a 32 red. All right, that's a $3 win, up $43. We're going to stay at base level here, and here we go. Okay, that's a 30 red. And we lost that one, so we're going to go from $1 to $2 on all those. And here we go. Once we get a win, we'll be taking the one that wins plus the one attached to it back to $1. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to take the 13 that won back to $1. And then we're also going to take the one that's attached to that, the corner that's attached to it, back to $1. And then the other ones are going to go up by $1. Just like that. Let's go ahead and spend. Now we're at $14 total bet with Dave's Moneymaker, and that's a 19 red. Okay, we lost. So when we lose, then we're going to go up by $1 on all these bets. So we're going to go up $1 on everything. So we're at 4 on 4 of the corners are at 4. The other 2 are at 2, and now we have a $20 total bet. Let's go ahead and spend. Here we go. All right, that is a 16 red. Hey, that's a $2 loss. So that one, any loss, they all go up $1. So we're going to go up $1 on everything. Okay. Now let's go ahead and spend. Now we're at $26 total bet. And here we go. That's a 36 red. Hey, that's a nice $19 win there. We're at $46, but we're not in session profit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take the one that won back to $1, and then the one that's attached to it back to $1, and then the other ones are going to increase by $1. So we have 6, 6, 4, 4, and then $. Now we have a $22 total bet out there. That's a 35 black. That's a $13 loss. So they're going to all go up $1. So let's do that. So we have 7, 7, 5, 5, 2, 2. And let's go ahead and spin. Again, this is Dave's Moneymaker. And let's see what we get here. That's a 4 black. That's a nice $35 win. We're up $68. We're going to go back to 6. All right, but those aren't right, so let's just put the bets back out again. That's what happened the last time. So you don't want to do it like that. Just go ahead and put them back out. Real easy to remember because they all line up and they're parallel like that. So let's go ahead and spin back to $1 each, 6 corner bets. That's a 19 red. We lost, so everything goes up by $1. So they all go from $1 to $2, and let's spin. And here we go. That's a 31 black. We lost again. They all go up $1. So let's do that. Now they're all at 3. Okay, now we're at an $18 total bet out there, and let's see what we get on this one. That's a 23 red. That's a nice $9 win, but we're not in session profit, so we take the one that won back to $1, and then the one that's attached to it back to $1, and then the rest of them all increase. So we have two groups of, 4 corners at $4 each, and then 2 at 1. That's an $18 total bet. We need to stay away from that second 12. And that's a 32 red. Nice, that's an $18 win. We're up $77. We're going to go back to 6. Okay, and those are actually correct this time when we did that. So $1 on each of 4 corners. That's a 3 red. And we lost, so let's go ahead and increase those by $1. Now we have $2 on 4 corners. All right, here we go. That's a 6 black. Okay, we lost, so everything's going to go up by $1. So now we're going to have $3 on everything. Okay, and that's an $18 total bet. Here we go. 26 black. Okay, that's a nice $9 win. We're up 68, but not in session profit. So we remove, or we don't remove, we go back to $1 on that one and the one that's attached to it. And then the other 2 increase by $1. So now we're at 4, 4, 4, and 4, and then 1 and 1. $18 total bet. Let's go ahead and spin. See if we can get a low or mid-range number here. That's a 9 red. That's a nice $18 win. We're up $86. We drop back to 6. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And this is a $1,000 bankroll system and $6 starting bet. And so far, so good. That's a 28 black. That's a $3 win. We're up $89. Let's just go ahead and rebet and spin and see what we get here. That's an 8 black. And that's the $3 win. We're up $92. And remember, coming up, I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be playing at the casino tonight and how I plan on winning tonight. And after practicing this strategy today, and I don't want to miss out on that. We're up $95 because in that I also show you how I make adjustments when I'm actually playing and how I practice to make sure that I come out on top. That's 34 red. That is a loss, so all those are going to increase by $1. And they're going to go, we'll have basically 6 corners at 2 each now. And that's a 10 black. We lost again. They go up another $1. So now we'll have 3 each on 6 of these corners. Whoops. There we go. Okay, now we're at an $18 total bet. And that's a 1 red. That's a $9 win. We're up 86. We're not in session profit, so we're going to take that back to $1, and then the one that's attached to it back to $1, and then the rest of them are going to go up $1. So 4, 4, 4, 4, 1, and 1, and that's an $18 bet. Okay, that's a 23 red. That's a nice $18 win. We're back up 104. We drop back to 6. Which is again $1 each on 6 corners. And here we go. So far so good with this one. That's a 33 black. Again, this is a $1,000 bankroll system, but we haven't needed it so far. We're up $107. And again, coming up, I'm going to be sharing with you how I'm going to win at the casino tonight. Make sure you stick around for that. And that's a $6 loss. Because before I go to the casino, I always practice right before I go, even if it's a system I'm used to. We're going to increase these from $1 to $2, but practice is the key to knowing what things can happen, good or bad, and how to deal with those, and how to stick to your bets, even if you don't think it's a good idea. So we want to play the way we practice, and I'm going to share with you how to, and we're going up $1 here, how to make adjustments while you're playing to protect your bankroll. So really, really important stuff, and here we go. That's an 18 red. That's a loss. We're going to increase on everything. So now we're at 4, 4, 4, 4, and 4. And that's a $24 total bet. Let's spin. Okay, that's a 3 red. We lost again. Everything's going to go up by $1 again. So now we're at 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. And now we're at a $30 total bet. All right, so we've had a bunch of losses in a row here. That's a 25 red. Okay, we finally got a win there, but we're nowhere near session profit, so we're going to go ahead and take the one that won back to $1. And then we're going to take the one that it's attached to back to $1. And then the other 4 are going to increase by $1 each. Now we're at $26 total bet. And let's see if we can get a hit on first or second 12 here. But that's a 33 black. That should be a loss. And it is. So they're all going to increase because we lost. So we'll go to 7, 7, 7, 7, 2, and 2. Now we're at $32 total bet. And let's see what we can get here. Okay, that's a 1 red. That should be good. Okay, that's a $31 win. We're up 76. So we're going to remove, or not going to remove actually, we're going to take this back to $1. And then we're going to take the one that's attached to it back to $1. Then the rest of them are going to increase. So now we're at 8, 8, 3, and 3. And we need a second 12 hit here. And there it is, 23 red. We'll take it. $48 win. We're up 124. We're going to drop back to 6. Okay, $1 on each out of the 4 corners again. And so far, so good with Dave's Moneymaker Roulette system, and that's a 2 black. Okay, that's a $3 win. We're up $127. And again, this is a $1,000 bankroll system, but I think you can play it for less because we haven't even got anywhere near needing that yet. But it's always good to have extra bankroll if you have the chance to to do that. So we'll be we're going to go from 6 to 12, $1 to $2 on each bet. And but never, or remember never to play with money that you can't afford to lose, though. That's always really important. That's a $6 win there. We're up 127. Let's drop back to 6. and spend. So as long as you're at or near session or as long as you have new session profit or you're real close to it, go ahead and reset. Okay, we lost that one. Let's go from $1 to $2 and spin. And the better that you do, the more you can be conservative. And that's a 5 red. That's a nice win. We're up 127. So we'll just drop back to 6 and spin. And here we go. That's an 11 black. That's a nice $3 win. We're up $130 now. And let's go ahead and spin. That's a 28 black. Okay, good. And so after 15 minutes, Dave's Moneymaker system made $133 and never really got in too much trouble. So I hope you enjoyed that one. If you want to send a system in like Dave did, send it to roulettemaster.c@gmail.com. And now I'm going to share with you how I'm going to be winning at the casino tonight. So make sure you stick around for that. And we're going to jump right into it. Here we go. Today we're going to be doing further testing of Sonny's incredible new secret roulette system. Sonny's a casino manager in Las Vegas. He's been holding this system back for a long time and only using it for himself. Now he's going to share it with us, and we already did some testing on this one. We're going to do more of it today, and I really want to do a lot of testing before I take this to the casino tonight. So let's go ahead and do it. And this is a $12 bet on second 12. $1 on the other 4 bets. That's a $16 total bet. And this is going to cover every red number to the left of 0 and every black number to the right of 0. But the key to this system is the progression, because we're not going to be doubling after each loss. And let's see how it does. I want to do some more testing of this. And I think you guys should all work on that too, because anytime you take a new system, and we're up $20, anytime you take a new system to the casino, you should have tested it and practiced it a lot beforehand to give you a good idea of what you should expect. And that's a 5 red. And that's one thing I do before I go to the casino. I practice. And I know I hear so many people sending me, and let's repeat that $16 bet. So many people send me emails saying, I took this straight to the casino and lost. Well, remember, I tell you guys to test the system, make sure you like it before you go to the casino. So that's a win there. We're up $24. We're going to stay at base level here. And here we go. So really, really important to let you guys know how much I practice before I go. That way I don't have to think. And there's another $20 win. We're at $44. So let's rebet and spin. And when you have to come up with what you're going to do when you get to the casino, that can be a problem. And that's a 0. We lost that one. So we're just going to repeat that bet. And another $16 bet here. And I try to make sure that I've already have a good idea of what the worst possible scenario could be and what the best possible scenario could be before I get to the table. We're at $48. Let's just rebet and spin. And here we go. All right. That's a 17 black. All right, that's another $20 win. We'll take it. We're up $68. And I just want to test this longer before I play it at the casino tonight, because it's done so well in testing. I want to see if I play it for a while, if anything pops up that I don't like. And we're up $88. Let's just rebet and spin. And here we go. That's a 29 black. That's a loss, so we'll just repeat that bet at 16. It takes 2 consecutive losses to double the bet with this system. And let's see what we get here. That's a 25 red. All right, that's a $20 win. We're up $92. We're still at base level. That's fantastic. And here we go again. And let me know down in the comments whether you guys like to play with a live deal, or if you like to play with automated roulette or video roulette or online. Let me know which you like the best. And let's go ahead now and double the bet from 16 to 32. All right, let's see if we get any more losses here or if we get a win. That's a good one, 23 red. We'll take that. $40 win. We're up $116. Let's drop back to where we started at $16, which again is $12 on second 12 and $1 on the other 4 bets. And that's a double 0. And that's a loss. We'll just repeat that bet at $16. And Sonny, if you're watching this, I just booked another, 2 more vacations to Vegas for the late summer and fall. So now I've got 3 trips booked. Can't wait to catch up with you next time we're there. And let's go ahead and spin. So the next, I won't be there for a little while. I'm in the middle of golf season. For those of you that don't know, I'm a PGA golf professional, and our next trip is going to be the end of July, first week of August, and then we're going to be there 3 times in that next 6 weeks after that. So let's just rebet and spin here. So we'll be there the last week of July, first week of August, and then the last week of August, first week of September, and then mid-September. We'll be there as well. So that's another loss. So we're going to double the bet to 32 and spin. And here we go. And that's a 9 red. Okay, that's a loss. So we'll just repeat that bet at 32. And actually the one that's in mid-September is actually a PGA conference. And that's a 32 red. And we lost. Let's go ahead and double the bet again and spin. I'm also planning on coming back for the G2E gaming convention that I went to last year. That's in October. Now we're getting some losses with this one. Let's repeat this one. Let's see how many losses that is in a row. Okay, that's a double zero. That's not good. Okay, so this is why I'm testing this, guys. Now we're at 128. Let's see how many losses we've had in a row. We definitely lost the 5, the 32, the 9, the 2, the 30, the 19. So we've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Okay, so that's a lot of losses, but it can happen, and that's what you have to be, using a progression that's not as fast as some of the other ones. That's a nice $160 win there. But you see, we are not in session profit. This is where you have to decide, am I going to go back to $56 and build it back up, or am I going to risk it one more time at $128? And one thing that you can do in this situation, which I'm sure Sonny would say also, is if the bets get really high and you're in profit but you're not near profit, it's not a bad idea just to drop back to half of what you're betting. So if we're at 128, then I'm going to go ahead and drop back to $64 because I'm going to practice this one today like I'm going to play it tonight in the casino. And here we go. A lot of times when we're testing the systems in the morning, that is a loss there. So you see that it helped us out because if we had bet big there and lost again, that would have been bad. So let's just repeat that bet again at 64, and then we'll go back up if we lose. That's a 9 red. Okay, so we lost again, and you can see now we're at minus 72. We're going to go ahead and double now to 128, but just think if we hadn't cycled down there, we would have lost 128 twice there. And then since we did it the right way, now we got a $160 win, and we're back up $88. So I would recommend going back half the bet again. When I'm testing it later like this, I'm testing it exactly like I'm going to play it at the casino tonight. So let's go ahead and get back to 64 and spin. And that's why it's so good for you guys to practice these systems, because you're going to come up with little things that you like, to add to the systems that might make it safer or make it make more money, whichever is more important to you. We're up $168. Now we're definitely going back to our $16 bet. So the reason I'm doing some of this additional testing also is because a lot of times when I'm doing the systems, as people send them in, I do it exactly the way they say to do it for the entire length of the video, and we're up $188. But there's always things that good players do, and I know Sonny does these things as well. When things go crazy and you get way more losses than what you would normally get, you have to adapt. And I know he would do something similar to what I just did there. But the systems as a whole are kind of laid out with the progression and how much you're betting and the bankroll. But there's a lot more to playing roulette than just that. You have to think through things and try to make the best decision to help your game, so that when you get to the casino, you've practiced it the way you want to. For instance, if we hadn't practiced it this way, and let's go ahead and double here. If we hadn't practiced it this way, you might not know what to do when the bets get high, and then you have to decide what am I going to do? And so we lost there. So let's go ahead and double to 64 now and spin, and let's see if we can get a win here. If not, we'll need to double it up. There's a good win, 13 black. $80 win. We're up $224. We're definitely going back to 16 now and spin. And here we go. All right, let's see what we get here. And that's a 10 black. And that's a loss. Let's go ahead and just repeat that at $16 and spin. And, you know, a lot of 18 number systems double the bet after every loss. This is a 16 number system that only doubles after every 2 losses. So definitely a little safer than doubling with 18 numbers after every loss. We're going to double up after those last 2 losses and spin. And then here we go. Let's see what we get. That's an 11 black. That's a nice $40 win. Now we're up $232. Let's go back to 16. And I'm just going to play this till I'm comfortable that I'm going to use this in the casino tonight. And then I'll know what I'm going to do with it. That's a 13 black. And we're up $252. Let's go ahead and spin again. And again, I was also talking about going to the G2E convention in October again at the Venetian. And I'm definitely going to do that again. I got to talk to all the guys that create the automated machines, the video roulette machines, and you know, all the people that work in the gambling industry. So that was really cool. I'm definitely going to do that again. And the cool thing is, if you could almost act like you work for one of the companies. You don't have to tell them you're just someone that gambles in the casino. If you get in, you can go ahead and just ask those guys any questions you have. And you know, I try to act like I'm interested in buying what they're selling, just so that they tell me more about what's going on. And there's another $40 win. We're up $228. I think it's a good time to go back to 16 and spin. And here we go. So this is the one I'm going to play tonight. This is again why I'm testing it more. And I recommend that you guys test whatever system you're going to use in the casino. At least test it for 30-40 minutes before you go to the casino. And again, it will make you get in the right mindset. And we're going to double up here. And also, you know, the big thing is just knowing what you're going to do, not trying to figure it out at the table. And that's an 18 red. $40 win. We're up $236. Let's go back to 16. And I really appreciate Sonny sharing this one with me. And again, I always love catching up with him. He works at a casino right by Circa, where I stay in Las Vegas. And that's a $20 win. We're up $256. Let's go ahead and spin. I've got a bunch of different trips coming up because some are with family, some are with friends, and then some of them are for work actually. So like the one in mid-September. So let's spin again here and see what we get. We're going to be, and that one's going to be a little different. We're going to be staying over there at the Rio Seco, over there by where Mike Tyson lives. But we're not actually staying at a casino for that trip, but we're going to be going to the casino a lot. And here we go. That's a 26 black. That's a $40 win. We're up $264. Let's drop back to 16 and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's an 8 black. Okay, that's a loss. We'll just rebet and spin again. And here we go. That's a 25 red. And that's a $20 win. We're up $268. And so far the testing has been pretty good. I've made a few adjustments though for playing it tonight. And again, those adjustments are when the bets get, you know, to about over $100. If we're not in session profit, I'm cycling those down when I get wins. We're up 288. And again, I'm sure Sonny does the same things. There's a lot of things, you know, you can't go over everything when you're sending in a strategy. Sometimes you have to, you know, good players adapt to what's going on. And I know Sonny does the same thing, but it's all about bankroll management. Let's see what we get here. That's a 31 black. And we lost, so let's double that up to 32. But again, we're just doubling after 2 losses. And when the bets get really high, I'm cycling down when we get a win, of course. And let's see, that's I think that's 2 losses in a row there. Yes, it is. Let's go ahead and double that up to 64 and spin. Let's see if we can hit one of these numbers, whether it's the, there we go, that's a 15 black. That's one of them right there. $80 win. We're up $304. Let's drop back to 16. And again, if you're up if the bets get high and you get a win and you're not in session profit, cut your bet in half. That's a 5 red. That's a loss. We'll just go ahead and repeat that bet again at $16. And here we go. That's a 9 red. Yeah, that's 2 losses in a row. We'll go ahead and double that up and spin. And here we go again. Okay, that's a 25 red. That's a nice $40 win. We're up $312. Let's drop back to 16 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 23 red. That's a $20 win. We're up $332. Let's spin again. That's a 31 black. Okay, we lost that one. Let's go ahead and rebet and spin. Again, if we lose 2 in a row, we'll double. That's a 7 red. Okay, we lost that one, so we'll double up to 32 and spin. All right, here we go. That's a 0. Lost that one. All right, we're up 268. We'll rebet and spin. If we lose this one, we'll double up to 64. That's a 10 black. We lost again. It's time to double up to 64. And again, if we get the bets back up over $100 and we get a win and we're not near session profit, we're going to cut the bets in half. That's a 21 red there, though. So let's see where we're at. We're up $316. We don't need to do that. We can go all the way back to the beginning. So a lot of times it depends, too, whether you win on the first attempt or the second attempt, because obviously you're going to win more money on the first attempt after you increase the bet. And that's a loss on 00. Let's rebet and spin. And here we go. Okay, that's a 2 black. That's 2 losses in a row. Let's double that up. Now we're at a $32 total bet. And let me know down in the comments too if you like high coverage, low coverage, or mid coverage, which means how many numbers you're covering. That's a nice $40 win. We're up $324. And I think that's pretty good testing on this one. Again, I'm going to be using this one tonight at the casino. Let me know what you guys think. If you've done testing on this one and it's failed, let me know. If you've done testing on this one and it's done great, let me know. And that would be fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed this little session I'm doing before I go to the casino to test out Sonny's system. And hope you enjoyed it. And this is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.